Well, good morning, my friends. Happy Tuesday. It is July 29th. I'm checking in from Germantown, Tennessee, which is Memphis, and it is 79 degrees and very hot. And it's been, I think, since Saturday, so it's Tuesday. It's been since Saturday since I recorded a video for my conversations, walking and talking about Peter Attia's Outlive. And I believe I reported in on the chapter on sleep, which I don't really struggle with sleep, except for last night. I didn't sleep that great, but that's pretty common for my first night of travel. So I've always just discounted it to being a travel thing. By tonight I'll be perfectly fine. And so it was the least exciting chapter for me in the book. As I mentioned, I was more curious because I know that my wife has traditionally struggled with sleep. And then I went ahead and listened to the next chapter, chapter 17, I believe. And wow, this is probably why it's taken so long to do a video. It was a chapter on emotional health, and got pretty emotional listening to it, to be quite honest, as he described some of the stories that he told himself during his childhood trauma. I really felt like it was me talking. It was so bizarre, the excuses that I've given my trauma. And I've always been good at acknowledging that I had childhood trauma. I had a stepfather who I believed was my actual father. He's now passed away. And he used to beat us pretty damn well. And when I say beat us, you know, I got a belt, I think, a couple of times. I don't think that belt was his favorite tool. He wasn't one of those dudes. His fists were more his favorite tool. And as a child, small child, you know, maybe 8, 9, 10, maybe 11. I don't remember, but I had very curly hair, and I remember on more than one occasion getting picked up by my curly hair and punched in the face by a grown man. I remember getting kicked downstairs. I actually recall getting in a car accident, I think at the age of possibly 18. I think it was the summer of my senior year. And I wanted to play football at Western New England College. And I was going to try out for the team. And I got T-boned in a car accident. And during physical therapy, they discovered a bone spur in my spine, which, if you don't know what that is, it's calcified over bone from trauma that they usually see in people that are, well, my age now. So I'm 51, and but they saw it at the age of 18, which meant that one of the times getting kicked down the stairs, probably injured my back in such a way that it created that bone spur at a pretty young age. So, but as he talked about how he leveraged his abuse for his success to drive him, that was definitely resonated with me. Good morning. And it was spooky. It was really spooky. And, you know, I remember really doing the same thing. And I remember when I got in a lot of trouble as a teenager, when I finally broke free from that situation, even though I had spent months in juvenile detention, I still would not rat him out to people that were challenging me, that knew that it was going on. I literally had neighbors show up to the courthouse that knew that I was in a lot of trouble for things that I did really because I didn't know how to handle the situation I was in as a child. And they showed up on my behalf when I wouldn't even do it. And it took a probation officer really, you know, being thoughtful and caring and firm at the same time about what she had been told and getting me to admit it. And that's how I ended up in a foster home and eventually adopted by my foster family. Thank goodness for them. I carried their last name, so very proud of that. And just the level of emotion that went into that chapter, it was like a perfect bow on a book of all the variables that go into health and trying to outlive, and talking about longevity and dealing with the emotional trauma, which I have not done a very good job at. And I do well talking about that it happened. I don't do well at too many details, or I don't do any therapy currently, any DBT, or he talks a little bit about DBT or anything like that. And to understand that it's impacting my health, certainly I knew it was, because in a previous video, I believe probably one of the very first ones, I did reveal that I finally got rid of the monkey. Maybe I didn't get rid of it. So I don't want to be too arrogant there, because then it'll smack me right in the butt. But I gave myself permission to love myself, to know that I'm worthy, because that was the hamster wheel that I was stuck on, just always chasing and always trying to perfect and always trying to do better, and knowing I could do better, which just stems from the cycle that he had me in, which was, you know, the house has got to be perfect and things need to be exactly the way he wants them, and I've got to be able to read his mind and be able to tell what that is, and then still find out that it's not good enough and I'm never going to be good enough, and then later on finding out that I wasn't his biological son, which, granted, not everything was terrible, but there you go again, making excuses. But yeah, rough chapter, beautiful book. I am stunned, still stunned over that last chapter, and very much interested. I found out yesterday that an event that I'm going to in Anaheim, California in September, which is Service Titan, that's the software that I specialize in. They're having a conference. And wouldn't you know, yesterday I found out that Peter Attia is the keynote speaker. Talk about serendipity. I am excited to see if I can have an opportunity to meet him and shake his hand. I think the work he's done is amazing, and it virtually covers the 4 pillars of health, which are exercise, nutrition, sleep, and emotional health. And it's a masterful job of taking you through that journey. Very grateful that that book was recommended to me and that I got a chance to listen to it and review chapters 11 through 17 with you. And I think I need to go back and maybe do some videos on chapters 1 through 10. But just, I am grateful. You guys be amazing today.